Hey, this is Nick with Midwest Off Grid. I just want to show you guys something new that I just bought. It's a NAS drive. Some of the possible options on this guy: build up fun with multimedia, quick videos. You can actually store things into a personal cloud. I don't think there's even a charge. NAS instantly on iOS or Android. There's probably a couple apps for that. Q Manager. I think that's what it's at. Q Manager, Q File. Yeah, Q. Two different mobile apps. That's good. There's also App Center that you can actually install apps on the NAS drive, which is pretty slick. Find some more information on that. And the most important thing that I bought this for was actually securely storing backups. My biggest motivation is to back up all my phones, all my kids' phones, and all of my laptops. The cool thing about a Mac is I can actually set this up and back up my machines all the time. I don't have to worry about it. It's automatically done on the network because this is a NAS drive, and everything will be backed up. Prior to this, I was actually finding my portable 1 terabyte hard drive with USB and just backing them up, once a month, sometimes forgetting it. So that's one of the biggest time savers, I think, that'll help me on this. Not only to mention having enough drive space for the YouTube channel and also various videos and stuff for my kids' activities. So pretty cool. If you don't understand what a NAS drive is, it's basically a way to store data, and a lot of data. Kind of explain some of it here really soon, but I'm gonna do a quick unboxing here. Got three 3 terabyte hard drives. It's pretty good. One of the things about this video, I'm not really going to go into great detail about what RAID is and what NAS is. I'll try and provide some links in the description below. This is really just a unboxing, trying to determine how much power consumption I'm going to use, especially when I'm off grid. It's kind of a concern there. But also I want to exactly store enough data. So what does this have to do with off-grid? Well, I need to store data, and I'm going to provide a YouTube channel building this long journey for being off-grid. So I'm going to have this. I'm going to try and provide some off-grid power consumption spreadsheets to determine how much power this guy is going to use. I think roughly, I think it actually uses about 9 watts on basically kind of like a night mode, and up to, what does it say? I think it's roughly 90 watts of power that it may potentially need. So look at that, we got an awesome power cord. Not much to this. Okay, that's pretty lame. Alright, look at that. QNAP 4-bay drive. See that little USB at the end? I'll explain that in a minute. Awesome videos on some of that stuff. It's got some outputs. Alright, let's get this out of here. Alright, I got it unboxed. I got a power block, power cord, got an installation kit. We're going to need that guy in a minute. We got 2 Ethernet cables, which is pretty cool. A whole bunch of screws, probably for the inside of this guy. Let's look on the back side of this thing. Alright, so it's got 2 network cards, 2 network jacks. I believe I can hook both of these up for potentially expanded throughput, or at least some kind of fault tolerance redundancy. I've only got 1 incoming drive, or 1 incoming network into my home. I guess ultimately you could possibly put this on 2 separate switches. That's kind of how it's done in the production world. I'm an IT guy, so I don't know a huge amount about network stuff. I'm a programmer, but at least I think I understand. In some cases, real world experience, you would have 1 of these guys hooked up to a separate network router, and this one would be on another. So for kind of redundancy, don't have that here, but looks like 2 USB 3s on the back side, the power connector, and a big huge fan. So we'll see how this works out. Here's some specs on the top. Annapurna Lab Alpine. Looks like it's some kind of Amazon company. Not sure what that's about. Looks like it's got a dual core processor with 1 gig of RAM. I think it does support some kind of Docker images or something like that to where you can actually run possibly a service. I'll explain some more in detail. I'll show you the Amazon one. Alright, these are the Hitachis from Amazon that I got for roughly $65. Put them in the description below. Here's some specs on this bad boy. 3 terabytes. Made in Thailand. Just a bunch of discs. I'll have 3 of them in there. Ooh, that's good. 5 volt, 850 milliamp hours. Okay. It is a faster drive, 7,200 RPM. It's not the fastest in the world, but it's about mid-grade speed. Should be able to get some pretty good read and write data out of this NAS off of our internal network. Access to all of my machines. Alright, let's try and bolt this guy on. Got some screws, got the hard drive, got the enclosure, and I have a Leatherman Wingman. Awesome thing. Eventually I'll do a video on this. It's one of my everyday carries. I highly suggest you get something like this. It'll save you in a pinch almost every single time. So, alright. Alright, drive 1's going in. Simple as that. Get 2 more drives in. Okay, steps were pretty easy. I installed a 3.5 inch hard drives. I installed all 3 of them now. So next up is basically hooking this guy up to my network and then hitting the power button. I actually have to put this not inside of my computer room. I have to put it by the AT&T router. I use AT&T. Let's see how this works. The other thing about this is it looks like I have to do some kind of QR code to get it linked up with my computer. I'll figure this out. Okay, looks like I figured it out. You gotta go to like start.qnap.com and you kind of walk through some steps here. It's not too bad trying to figure this out. Okay, I'll show you kind of some of the admin screens. You can enter a date, time, synchronize with a time server, which is important, I think. Configure DHCP. I'll probably just do automatic DHCP just so it gets an IP address every time. Cross-platform file transfer. Makes sense. I'm a big Mac guy, but I'll support Windows. And I've used Linux quite a bit as well. We'll do all 3 of those. Here's where I've got 3 hard drives installed. I've got 3 Hitachi hard drives, and there's additional checks. I think I'll just do a static volume, so it's just one single volume. I don't think there's a huge amount of need to separate the 2. Maybe down the road, surveillance may have to be on a separate device. I kind of doubt it. Might be better for security, but I'll leave it as 1. I'll go with RAID 5. RAID 5 is important. Ultimately, RAID 5 gives you data striped across all hard drives, and RAID 5 parity information is distributed and stored across each hard drive. Definitely want to do that. Hot swap. I don't know why that's disabled. Might be because I have only 3 drives in it. Can't necessarily do a hot spare unless if there's more than 3, I think. Encrypted volume. Bad block scan. I don't know what that is. I'll leave that alone since it wasn't auto checked. It looks all right. Please confirm that you would like to proceed. Yes. All right. That should get me going pretty well. This might take a little while. Okay, I'm trying to update the firmware. Looks like it wants a firmware update. Looks like it was only like a couple days ago. And everything officially was saved onto my time machine backup. It's a good thing. I want to say it took about 16 hours to back this guy up, even with that tweak, that power tweak at the command line. Okay, I'm going to show you roughly the spreadsheet that I've got going on here. It's a QNAP NAS hard drive space. I'll put in the links to the description, but ultimately it's going to show you kind of roughly how much space that I was kind of looking at. So I'm kind of looking at like personal docs, YouTube, social media, my old Mac, and then older hard drives that I'm trying to migrate over. Roughly that's only about 1 terabyte or 0.753 terabytes. That doesn't even include, daily videos when I start rolling them in. I didn't update the stock completely. At some point, probably before I launch this video, I'll completely update it.